Hey everyone, we have Frank and Greg, the co-founders of Hero Barbell, on the podcast today. Guys, thank you for taking the time. Can't wait to hear your story. To start off, you guys can choose between the two of you, but who goes first? But can you guys give us a quick 1 to 2 minute introduction of who you guys are?
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah,
Start us off
absolutely,
here,
Jake.
buddy.
I'll fire away here. Naval Academy graduate, played college baseball there. Had a blast doing that, and decided to become a Marine pilot out of the Naval Academy. Flew Hornets for 20 years. Fortunate enough to go to Top Gun. Graduated Top Gun, was a squadron commander. Met all sorts of super cool people like Brad Lehman, and along that journey, met these guys. Our daughters played softball together, and decided to become an entrepreneur as well. So went the hero route, and retired in June of 2022. So 18 months ago. I fly for UPS now, and work Hero Barbell. So it's super awesome. Got a wife, 4 kids, and just they take up the rest of my time.
Yeah, my my background's
imagine.
never as interesting as Frank's. I didn't take off and land on aircraft carriers and do all that type of stuff. But
Tough to beat.
yeah, I'm an athlete too. Been a lifelong athlete. Went to undergrad on a football scholarship. 3 years started at San Diego State. So did that whole thing. Athletics always been a big part of my life. And then got into technology. Actually, my career has pretty much been in software development, primarily on the product side. I started as an engineer, but then quickly moved into the product side, which, is probably kind of explains my role within the hero circle as well. But I guess I'm kind of the business guy, entrepreneur. Started my first company at 25 years old. Got an MBA from USC, and have just had a lot of fun over the last 15 years of my career, like starting companies, building them up, and doing my best to sell them.
And then is there a third partner?
There
Yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. There's 4. There's 4
There's
of us
4.
actually, but there's three original
Okay.
founders. Yeah. So Mike is we affectionately call him our CFO, or a wet blanket, or whatever you want to whatever term you want to use. No, he's great. He keeps Greg and I grounded, and keeps the company on track, which is absolutely awesome. Face of the company. I mean, he's
Gotcha.
entrepreneur as well. CrossFit Games athlete, CrossFit Games athlete coach. So he brings all of that to the company, which is absolutely awesome. We feel like it very much rounds us out.
Yeah, he helps legitimize it.
Absolutely.
Cool. And one thing that I love about your story, I don't know too much about it, but I do know that it was born from a garage gym. Like the garage gym was in mind when you
Yeah.
guys were building it out. So can you guys share, just give us the story of how it was created? Just some guys working out in their garage, and here you are now.
Totally. It was, the 3 of us met. The 3 of us met when our daughters were playing softball together, and the more time we spent together, we realized we all went to the same gym, which was pretty cool too. And then unfortunately COVID hit, right, and our gym closed down. So like a lot of fitness enthusiasts did, we just started completely turn to on building our garage gyms out, and we just kind of as we continued to look and try and find options on the market, we just became increasingly frustrated with the barbells out there. It was hot garbage. Steel was a commodity at the time, so it was tough to find a good barbell, one, and you're gonna, two, if you did find one, you're gonna spend an arm and a leg, and we all didn't like that. So we got together and chatted about it, over Palomas or Greyhounds. It's unclear of which what was going on there at Greg's place, and Greg, being the entrepreneur, kind of pitched us the idea, and we all thought it was a great idea at the time. And then before you know it, I think it was literally the very next day, he calls Mike and I up, and he's like, "Hey, I got all this stuff going. We got to get this business started." And we were kind of like, "Oh my gosh," kind of taken aback. But we were all in at that point. We thought, the brand, the idea of a no kidding couple of dads just getting together and designing a barbell, designing really a brand, and then a product behind the brand that appeals to the fitness community, and that won't break your bank at the same time. We thought we were onto something, and here we are, close to 3 years later, and we're living it. So it's been a blast. Great.
Yeah, I'll add to that. It's kind of funny, right? Because we were all avid CrossFitters. And me and Mike, our other partner, had been competing against each other forever. We were doing competitions, and actually that's where the Suburban Legend moniker thing that we work with come from. That was the name of one of our teams that we entered a competition. And then COVID hit, shut everything down. And if you remember the space, and I'm sure you do, you couldn't even buy fitness equipment. It was like, you had to get on the black market to buy something. It was just so much demand. So, actually this hit me the other day. I kind of had forgotten. I started to look at manufacturers, thinking to myself, well, maybe I can go directly to a manufacturer and try to get some equipment for us, because, you couldn't buy anything from any of the major sites or products. So I think that was where the idea, kind of the genesis, came from it, as I started to understand how the manufacturing process worked. And look, man, I come up with dumb business ideas all the time. I probably came up with 15 ideas during COVID of different things we could do. And I always share them with friends. And most of my friends look at me like, you guys are idiot. You're an idiot. It's never going to work. And I don't know what it was. I shared it to Frank and Mike, and they're like, yeah, let's do this. This is a good idea. And it was almost like calling my bluff. It was like, all right, yeah, let's do this. And then, kind of the rest is history from there.
That's awesome. So you have this idea. How long did it take for you to have from idea to getting that first barbell sold? I'd ask.
Yeah. You probably have to go back over records. I would say it's 6
to 9
plus months, 6 to 9 months. Yeah. Because, the first thing you do is you kind of got the idea, the concept, and then, we started to work with manufacturers. We had very specific specs that we wanted to meet. We, having been, pretty avid CrossFitters, amateurs, but guys that, I think we all thought we were pretty competitive at the time, relatively speaking. We knew what we were looking for. We did some competitive research. We saw what other people in the market were doing. We're looking at the $600, $700, $800 Alikio bars and kind of the specs of those. And we're like, well, how do we meet the specs of, the $500 plus bar, but be able to offer it at a price point under $300, right? And that's where we decided on bearings versus bushings. And we started to think about coatings and, Cerakote versus this. And, we had some style points that we wanted to kind of design. And so it was really about finding manufacturers and then having them develop prototypes for us that met the specs that we were looking to do. And then we got those in our hands and, continued to vet that process out. So there was a lot of upfront design process. And then, obviously once that goes, you got to move into the full blown manufacturing and setting up logistics and websites and, all that type of stuff.
Gotcha. So it has been a few years, and I was looking on the website the other day, and it looks like you've made some improvements to your main barbell, and then also, which we can touch on later, some other products. But to start, I'd love to hear to hear how that first barbell has evolved to what it is today.
Yeah, totally. So Jake, you got one of the originals, by the way.
Yeah. Right.
So, super cool, and that thing's going to be a relic someday, right? So just hold on to it. but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. We kind of, the first thing that we did once we decided on the design, we were like slap the table on it, was all right. Maybe we want to tweak the branding a little bit, right? So our little muscle guy, kind of, we dropped him from the logo and just went straight hero on the logo. I think it just kind of popped more. That, the design we liked it at the time. It was just a little wonky. We ended up pushing metal end caps. We ended up going all metal end caps, aside from like the kind of the plastic inserts. I just think, again, just kind of gives a little more pop and credence to the bar itself. Um, and more recently, we we dropped the rubber band off of the
Yeah.
sleeve and collar of the barbell. So we have and we have ideas. We don't want to sell them yet, but we have ideas in the works to how we can even make the next round, the Legend 2.0 or whatever, more just speak to hero, that aesthetically pleasing, but still popping with the performance specs that you really really want in a no kidding bearing barbell. So those are really what we've kind of worked with from soup to nuts, and I mean, even with the birth of the Phoenix bar too, our women's bar. Well, what I want, like, our consumers, our audience, our athletes to know is that both of those bars are spec'd the exact same. IWF specs, 28 mil, 25 mil diameter shaft. I mean, everything is cut and precisely measured to a T. And that's what we don't want to compromise on. We don't want to compromise on tensile strength. We don't want to compromise on bearings. We want to make those. We want to hold to that standard, and continue to just make the bar as tight as possible, and as affordable as possible too, because that was also one of our sticking points.
Yeah, I'd second that. The anatomy of the bar has been pretty consistent. I think we got it very right from the beginning, as far as using needle bearings and the spin of the bar, the tensile strength, the all those types of things. We've made some kind of cosmetic improvements along the way, as Frank said. The end caps and. I mean, style's always been a big part of what we've wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we released originally with 5 different Cerakote coatings. We use all authentic, real deal Cerakote. I think we've gotten better at the coatings themselves to make them more durable. Reduce the amount of defects, etc., that happen in that process. But like, it's always been about an individualism within our athletes. So expanding the color lines, getting colors that resonate with people, designing kind of interesting bars like our Empire bar, if you've ever seen that kind of like, reach to particular audiences. So yeah, I think the mechanics of the bar have always been really good. The anatomy, the performance, and we've had many athletes use it and give us awesome feedback. So we didn't want to mess with that much, but there was definitely a component of like, how do we make these bars more personal and reach a broader audience and have people feel really proud about grabbing their bar off their rack when they do their workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the concept where you want people to be able to say, I bought a hero bar. Like, you want people to really, you want people to understand what that means, and like what that means about your gym, your character, like yourself, as opposed to, I just bought a Rogue bar. I think that's cool. What else have you guys started to sell?
Yeah, I mean, so I manage a lot of the product design. We created a certain amount of auxiliary products, belts, those types of things. Frank actually designed a awesome magnetic clip that we also offer. I mean, these are kind of like types of stuff that you throw in your shopping cart. You need them. Gyms, boxes love them. But our big offering that we're just kind of finishing beta testing right now is we're rolling out a comp plate, a competition bumper plate. I'm gonna a full set of competition bumper plates. So we have those right now in a bunch of different gyms. So we're stress testing them, make sure that that they're good. They're going to be sent out to a lot of our top athletes that are going to be using them in their own home gyms or their own boxes or whatever it might be. But the goal there is that we're going to start delivering those Q1 of 2024, and I think we're super stoked on that. I mean, essentially, we're doing to the comp plate what we did with the Hero Barbell, which is let's take a comp plate or a set of comp plates that's selling for let's say $300 a pair by some of the bigger competitors. Let's create something as good, if not better, with kind of all the hero styles that people like, and let's go ahead and bring it out to market at 25% less expensive than those guys are. So we're super pumped on that as kind of the next big product launch.
So you started out during COVID, and there were lots of companies that did this. There were lots of potential gym equipment manufacturers that just like started up with a brand, and they are no longer exist anymore, or you just don't hear about them at all. I'd be curious to hear why you think you're still around.
Well, it's really, and take a page out of Greg's book. We kind of talked about this on the at the onset of the company. Is like, hey, when we decide on brand building, we looked at successful brands. We looked at brands like Manscaped, Harry's, Dollar Shave Club, like brands that kind of didn't necessarily reinvent a product, but they reinvented this space, and they marketed themselves and probably took a price point to where they became successful. So we kind of looked at Hero like, all right, we can make, I mean, a barbell's very easy to reinvent, right? So like what makes ours appealing? Well, I mean, we try to appeal, just like Greg said, to the individualism of the athlete, right? And this is a bar that is made by CrossFitters for CrossFitters, for not to give out like age numbers and everything, but like for guys that are that 30 something 40 something athlete, that if they take their pre-workout enough, they could challenge those 20 somethings in the gym every now and then. Those are the type of people that use our bars, right? Like that is a hero athlete. That's Hero Nation. And I think that resonated with a lot of the community, to the point where we just found a little bit of success. And now I'll just kind of speak to the ownership a little bit too of the company. You got four guys right now that just don't know when to quit. I mean, you have guys that grew up on athletic teams, still competitive into their 30s and 40s, and actually, actual CrossFit athletes and coaches that just, hey, like, keep feeding me kind of thing, right? I mean, I want it. I welcome the adversity. Like I'm a guy that actually hasn't been in the business space until my role with Hero. I became super hungry the moment that Greg kind of introduced me to this, and just getting an understanding and working knowledge just made me want it more and more and more. And those little successes that we saw just kind of built on each other, and that brings us to where we are today, Jake.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what I personally love about business is it's just a different way to compete,
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I love hearing that attitude. one thing that you haven't mentioned yet is any of the difficulties that surely have come along the way over the
Yeah.
past like 3 years or so. Can you maybe touch upon some of the, I mean, you can take this wherever you want, like about when you started, and this we can take a little bit of time on this section because I think this is probably some of the most interesting stuff. Just some
Yeah.
of the like difficulties getting it going, and then some of the like things that you just did not expect as you have come across the last few years in trying to build your brand.
God. Yeah, there are a lot of mistakes along the way. I mean, I think we did a lot of things right too. So I'll give ourselves some credit. But I mean, first of all, this is to every business that exists, and I would just give this advice to anybody that's trying to start something. It's always going to take you twice as long and cost you twice as much as you think it is. So those best case scenario, Excel spreadsheets, like all that stuff, like just double it off the bat because that's
So
the
true.
case. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, it's if I was going to give some advice to myself back then, I'd probably still move forward with this, but I'd be like, do we really want to work with barbells? Like, think about just the logistical aspects of barbells and the packaging and the shipping and the warehousing and the moving them around. I mean, heavy as shit. Pain in the ass. I mean, we had probably the biggest improvements we made from our earliest iterations was packaging because our first versions of our barbells, you could just see like the pissed off FedEx guy that had to deliver this at the door that was just like throwing this thing around with no regard and packaging just exploding everywhere, right? So like getting stuff like that right, really understanding how to handle the logistics aspects. We've been really lucky with the product. We've had minimal issues. Like our return rate is like almost zero, like well under 1%. Defects do happen, but they're pretty minimal. It's mostly been around like the logistic aspect. And then the other thing is demand. There's a long cycle from manufacturing these products. And the way we do things right now, we obviously have multiple colors, multiple SKUs, and all these different types of things. So, we've sold out. We've had situations where we've just been out of inventory for a really long time, which has slowed our growth. I think we're fortunate as a company that we've never lacked for demand. If anything, we've lacked for an ability to meet demand. And there's a lot of money that's involved with being able to meet demand, and it's manufacturing and all those different kind of aspects that come into it. So there's that, and then I think kind of what you're alluding to, and we can talk more about this. When you go into a space that has some big competitors, some big hairy audacious competitors, and they don't know who you are, they don't bother with you. But you start to take a little bite of the apple, and it's their apple. They get pissed, and they got some big muscles and some money to support them, and all of a sudden you got lawyers calling you and people trying to take your business out, and you got to deal with those challenges as well.
And I'll take it from there. No, Greg. I mean, Greg hit the nail on the head. The whole logistics timeline just continues. Talk about a moving target. That's a tough nut to crack. We're fortunate enough to have some great partners. We didn't have at the beginning of our journey, and they have really helped out from a quality control standpoint, from a logistics standpoint. I mean, they have absolutely been value added to the company from day one, and we really do consider them as partners and really just working towards the greater good of the company. But I'll take a step back and kind of unwrap what Greg just threw out there a little bit. So yeah, the competitor space. Before I get into this discussion, I want to say that, and this isn't just placating masses or anything like that. this is something I truly believe, and I kind of put this out there for the Morning Chalk Up article that was recently released on the birth of the company and all that good stuff this week. Um, Competitors should be able to exist in the same space symbiotically. I mean, there is no reason, Jake, if we wanted to start up kind of a garage gym equipment kind of company similar to what you have been doing and Coop has been doing, and Matt Pendergraft, and like so many guys in this space have been doing. We should all be able to be that, that friendly competition. Okay, got it. Like just like we talked about earlier, when we're competing. But at the end of the day, when the competition's over, like we should all be able to get together and kind of, have a bourbon, smoke a rib, whatever, and hug it out, kind of bro style. But I see companies as just making companies better, right? So
Yeah.
like some company launches a product, and okay, that's a pretty cool product. That's well, you win. Tip the hat
Yeah.
to you on that one, right? Uh, well, let's try and find something. Obviously, not the same, but something similar. Maybe we can tweak it, optimize it, whatever. That's how I see companies kind of existing in the space. Not something to where, okay, we released a product, we've had our best sales month in the history of the company, and then all of a sudden, we want to log into our Meta accounts to wish our CrossFit athletes well at the CrossFit Games, and then, oh, what happened to our Meta accounts? Oh, they got shut down. Um, like it's even CrossFit and CrossFit as a company, right? They reached out to us. We talked with them about what we can't say on Instagram, on our website, and stuff like that. And we were like, okay, got it. We didn't know, and we edited everything out that we can't use CrossFit because CrossFit's a trademark term and all that stuff. We complied with everything they asked us to do, but at least they didn't like go to Meta and just say shut them down, right? Like, dude, tell me that you have a beef with the company, and I will do everything in my power. Greg will do everything in his power. We will do everything in our power as a company to find some sort of mutual compromise, to where we can both exist in the space symbiotically. And that's, I'll leave it at that.
Are you able to, because I don't even know specifically what happened. Are you able to go back? Can you explain what happened? Like, what did you do?
Sure. No, I absolutely can. So, we finally figured it out from Meta 2 weeks after our accounts were shut down that we received a complaint of trademark violation and IP infringement from Rogue. So Rogue filed a formal complaint with Meta. Meta didn't even ask our side of the story. They just completely shut our account down. That was kind of the whole due process was really lame. And oh, by the way, trying to find an actual human to talk to and Meta
Right.
support. If you have tried to do that before, that's it's impossible. If you do, please let me know, because that would be really impressive, and I would just want to shake your hand. But yeah, so it was trademark violation and IP infringement, and then we finally got a letter from their lawyers through our lawyers, and we took a look at like the claims of trademark violations. One of them was a picture. I don't want to bore like nuanced details. One of them was a picture of one of our athletes, Heather Hippensteel. I believe it was the 2014 games where her Team Invictus, podiumed. I believe they won it all. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a picture of her underneath a barbell doing a lift. It was a picture that, oh, by the way, she personally gave to me, and all the caption was, hey, Hero Barbell would like to welcome Heather Hippensteel to Team Hero. Like it's awesome having her and her experience as an athlete there. Now, the problem was that on the plates on that barbell that she was lifting in the 2014 CrossFit Games, everyone knows is Rogue is the official equipment supplier. They say Rogue on the actual plate. So that was one of their quote, use air quotes, but the trademark violations, right? So it'd be very similar if I took a picture of Greg wearing Nike shoes, doing a lift with all Hero shit, and then Nike shut us down because Greg was wearing Nike shoes.
Right. Well, and the ironic part, just to jump in, like the other picture was somebody using a Hero barbell with Rogue plates. By the way, we don't at the time make plates. We don't have weight plates. Like if anything, we're giving them free advertising and sort of like saying like, hey, like check out these guys too. Like we're not trying to sell our plates by using pictures of them. So that was one of the complaints. The other IP one, which was really interesting, was apparently they hold the patent on the rubber bands that we all seen. The design. There's a design patent that was just renewed in 2023. Now I want to be careful here and tread on some territory because I've just things that I've been told. There's probably a very strong argument that you could invalidate that patent. I don't know. We've talked to a couple other people in the space about this. We've also been told that Rogue holds like 130 patents right now, and they've acquired all these patents. So it's like I don't know, what their deal is. Kind of patent trollish. I don't know. Like it. I'm not really sure. It feels like that. I don't want to say anything out of turn. I've just been told these things from other people. But this is probably the most frustrating part. We got the patent, we got the cease and desist. We immediately went to our website. We removed every image that showed a Rogue plate in any barbell that we use because we don't have plates, right? People use Rogue, probably the number one seller of plates. We're not trying to infringe on it. It's just the fact that it's like Frank said, somebody wearing Nike shoes. We don't make shoes. What are you going to have people work out barefoot? And then we also changed our manufacturing process. We went back and retrofitted all of our bars with different sleeves that did not have the rubber band holding. It's purely cosmetic, not a big deal. Cost us a shit ton of money, but fine. If Rogue's going to say that they own that patent, we're not going to fight them. Went back to their attorneys and said, hey, listen, we did everything you asked us to do. We don't necessarily agree with your patent, but we're going to go ahead and follow through on it. Here's pictures of our manufacturing process. We're showing you all. Still refuse to basically lift their complaint against Rogue. Just going to continue to leave our Meta account shut down. Their lawyers have been absolutely just like adamant that they're just essentially not going to do anything. And me and Frank's take on the whole thing is, well, why would they do anything? Why would they allow us to continue to do what we've been doing when they can flex their muscles and they can keep us shut down? So look, we've complied with everything Rogue's asked us to do. We don't necessarily agree with it, but we're surely not going to fight them in a legal battle. And, the fact of the matter is, I don't know. We don't feel like they're necessarily playing a fair game with us right now.
Yeah, that's tough. There's like 30 companies with those rubber band barbells.
Yes,
right?
100%. 100%.
Yes, there are.
Got it.
Walk into Dick's Sporting Goods and tell me what barbell you see being sold nationally, and if it has a rubber band.
Is it an Ethos like rubber band barbell?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I walked into a Dick's like 3 days after we got our cease and desist from the lawyers, and I'm like, yeah, why us? Like, go after Dick's.
Yep.
Dick's is way bigger than us, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't even know what to say about that.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, if you think about it from just a small business standpoint, like here are guys just trying to make it in America, find a little piece of the American dream, found a little bit of success, And then all of a sudden, here comes, like take whatever movie, kind of mega villain that you want to, like, to just pound you into submission. It's like,
Right.
dude, give me a break, man.
And not to like come off, I don't want this to sound rude. I doubt you're making too big of a dent in their business, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's that is definitely a struggle that probably happens in just about every industry within the
Mm-hmm.
United States, and a lot of that stuff's starting to bubble up.
Yeah.
So hopefully laws start changing to help accommodate for things like that, or else you're just going to shut down entrepreneurship. Like,
Right.
yeah, you're going to hurt.
I mean,
it's going to hurt the long run. Yeah.
a barbell is a barbell is a barbell, right? And I got it. There is a quote unquote design patent out there. There's also, may or may not be prior art that supersedes that design patent. But again, just like Greg said, I mean, we're a small business trying to make it in America.
Gotcha.
That's not our fight at this time.
Yeah.
Right. We just want to continue to provide our consumers, Hero Nation, our following, our athletes with the best barbell that we could possibly provide them. That's our main goal right now.
Right. And yeah, and hopefully this is just a bump in the journey. But how many Instagram followers did you have?
We had over 5,000, and those. I pride myself on that, Jake, because I ran the social account.
Mm-hmm.
Those were all real non-bot followers.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get. And man, I tell you what, that was a straight up stab in the heart when that happened.
And just as like an FYI, the only way that I've heard of issues being resolved like this is if you like find an employee at Meta.
Right.
You have to like have a contact there, like a
Jake,
friend that works there.
I found an employee at Meta and it's still not unlocked.
Gotcha.
The only way that they said Meta, and this includes my friend, the only way they said that it would be released, right, would be if Rogue rescinded the complaint.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Jake, to your point, it's fine. Like we're fine. I think if anything,
Whatever.
it's lit a fire under us. It's motivated us. To your point, are we putting a big dent in their overall numbers? I mean, probably not. I don't know if we're hitting their balance sheet, but maybe they're looking at the market and they're seeing some momentum and they're seeing some growth and they're seeing more and more athletes come to us, more competitions reaching out to us. And, unlike a lot of the brands or I guess fitness equipment companies that have popped up, there was more to Hero. And that's at least our belief. Maybe we're delusional in our own self-importance, but we believe that we're building a real brand that people believe in and people want to be a part of. I think that's been a big part of our success, right? Like you asked a question earlier, why have we been able to kind of survive? And I think that there's an authenticity to who we are, right? Like Hero, like it's hard to go out to market as a company called Hero, right? Like that says a lot. But look at Frank. Frank, I mean, how many combat missions have you flown in your life, Frank? Like you're a real deal guy. You've lived the life. Like this isn't fake. We're not a bunch of business guys that had an idea on how to make money. Like the whole idea of like the Suburban legend and what it was, it's like, look, we're all athletes, man. I still compete on a, as often as I can. I get out in the gym and, I'm an old guy now and, I'm 6'4", so CrossFit's never been, the easiest thing in the world for me. But like, we're going to walk the walk and, we're going to talk the talk along with it. So, kind of where we sit now is like, okay, you know what, if we're on these guys' radar enough that they're going to come after us and not Ethos and not, the 35 other brands, and maybe they have, I don't know. We haven't talked to all of them, but it seems like their Instagram accounts are still up, then, maybe we're doing something right here. And so I look at it as just like, all right,
Yeah.
we've we got some people in the industry that are also seeing what we're seeing. Let's double down on this, man. Let's get the story out because we're onto something, and people like this, and this brand resonates with people, and we know how to build a great product. So let's grow this thing, and let's become a bigger thorn in their side.
What about, we kind of talked about like competition as one of your favorite things about this industry, or of just like this line of work. Anything else? Anything else that you really love about what you're doing? Or I'll also just add in maybe something that has been a nice surprise as you created this company.
That Frank's really good at social media.
That was a surprise. That was a very good surprise. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this aspect of it too. Having a chance to be able to go to the competitions that we are that we play a part in, specifically Masters Fitness Championship, specifically Monster Games. We went to Pasadena this year for the semifinals as a vendor. The really cool thing about each of the events that we have participated in, which I mean, I think the total number is closer to 15 this year, which I was very happy about. The feedback that we get when we're there from the athletes that just, come up and, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to meet you finally, because that's, I mean, you get the compliments all the time. Oh, your customer service is great. This. And oh, I don't know who I'm talking to behind the social media. Well, you're talking to me. You're talking to I'm DMing you. It's not like it's not some dude that college kid intern that we're paying 15 or whatever minimum wages in California right now. I don't know what it is, but it's us. It's us. That authenticity that Greg is talking about, that's who you get when you are talking with customer service, when you're talking with social. It's literally us. When we go to events, it's Tony, it's me and Tony. It's we are out there showcasing the company, and sacrificing time away from other stuff, from family specifically, right? I mean, I have a wife and 4 kids that I would love to watch continue to play softball, but this is very important to me. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's one of the reasons why I said all in when Greg said, "Let's go." Right? I love nothing more than seeing the satisfaction on people's faces when they hit PR under a hero bar. Like that right there just makes me so happy. And that's the reason for the continued PR alerts on social media. I mean, I used to push those out on the reg, and now we're starting to get them again under Free Hero Barbell. So please, if you guys were following Hero Barbell Co., follow Free Hero Barbell now. But I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome seeing that. And that's what has been really fun for me, getting into this business and getting into this space.
I mean, I can jump in. I can add a little bit to it. It's
go for it.
It's similar. I mean, for me, it's like when this whole thing started, we kind of had this vision of like what, we always joke. It's like this, like it really was a for us by us kind of company. It was always just like, what would we like? Like, what would I like? Like, what's what would I want in a barbell? Like, what would I want in a brand? What would I want in a company that I was working with? Like, what would resonate with me?
Yep.
So we had this concept and this idea, and then you go to execution and you start designing stuff and you start putting stuff out in the market, and you don't know, like you don't really know if it's going to resonate or if people are going to like it. Or so I think the path from going from concept and idea in your head to start to like get into prototyping and design to then see these products out in the wild and seeing these athletes that I'm just fans of. Like I was a guy like everybody else, like watching, keeping track of the open scoreboard and who's doing what, where, and then regionals and who got out of regionals and how did that go. And then the games and, I knew all the athletes and I'd follow the athletes and now you see these guys working out with your bar and saying good thing about it, posting stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dude, that's so cool that you're able to take this idea and this concept and you now see it out in the wild. People like it. It just feels unbelievably satisfying.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue into one of the last questions. Is just like one of the more difficult things that I've discovered is just creating something from scratch, like from something from nothing. I think it's way harder than most people truly realize. If you had to give some advice to somebody who just wanted to create something from scratch, or they wanted to go in and they wanted to start a plate company, like they want to only sell plates or they only want to sell kettlebells,
Don't do it.
Don't do it, but maybe in a different industry. Do something else.
Don't lift heavy.
What would be your advice?
I think you got to get real clear with your
Greg.
purpose and the reason why your product exists. There's a million products out there. We live in this world. Like you go to Amazon and you do a search for just about anything, and you're going to get 500 variations of that product. They're all out there. If you see the brands that are successful, a lot of times on Amazon, it's like an algorithm game. It's like gaming the system, right? It's like, how do we get enough reviews that we come up organically? And I mean, go to YouTube and you'll search, all these guys like go to Alibaba and buy this product. And then this is how you game the Amazon algorithm to be able to get your product. It's like that. I think that's fine. If you're that kind of person, that's great. But if you really want to build a brand and a brand that's got some, the ability to sort of withstand and grow and people are going to get behind, it's got to be authentic to a particular mission or a particular purpose. Like, why do you exist? Like, why are you building what you're building? Why is it better? How are you going to position yourself against the competition? Like, I don't know if I knew this going or we knew this going into the Hero Barbell journey, but I think that's what's made Hero successful is that we were not just trying to go out there and be like another barbell manufacturer or another plate manufacturer or whatever it was. It was like, we want to create something that people can believe in and get behind and feel good about buying. And we were clear with like who our customer was and why they should care about us. And and it wasn't something we made up. We didn't fabricate it. Like I said, it was just what we built the company that we wanted to exist for products that we wanted to buy. So my advice, and Frank, I'll let you jump in after this. My advice to anybody out there that's looking to start a company is be really clear. Like, why would somebody want to work with you? Like don't just start a business or start a brand because like, oh, I think I can make money in this space or, oh, there's some opportunity in this space. Like really think about like what you mean to the people out there and make sure that it's like authentic to who you are and that you're going to stand behind that, because that's ultimately what people are going to get behind. It's the product and it's got to be good. But there's a lot of similarity in products, and that you've probably reviewed every fitness equipment product that exists, right? Yeah, there's some better than others, but what people really want to get behind is a company and people that they believe in.
Yeah, true that. My advice, and again, this is coming from a guy with no business background whatsoever, and just the 3 years that I've been doing this. My advice to people would be to prepare to be discouraged, and grow thick skin. Not every day like is going to be a great day. you could wake up one morning and find that your social account that you've spent over 2 years growing has been completely disabled, and never get it back again. Right. I mean, it's stuff like that where, I know better people than me that would have just thrown in the towel. And I looked at Greg for probably close to 3 weeks, said, I'm not doing it again. Hire somebody else. Seriously, I just, you have got to be able to grow thick skin. Don't read the comments. Not every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows. You're going to have bad days, but it's the good companies that rise through those bad days and continue to grow. So see the forest through the trees, and grow some thick skin, and you're going to be, have a brand and have a purpose behind that brand. You're going to be successful. So that's me.
Cool. And then last question is just, what does the future entail for Hero?
Future's bright. I'll tell you what.
This is a great question, and we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
The natural evolution you see with all these other companies in the fitness space is they continue to just add more product, and more product. And like, I don't think that's who we are. I don't think that's who we want to be. I don't know if you're going to start seeing us selling, dumbbells and, racks and all those things soon. Something like a rack might be in the future, but like, if we do a rack, it's going to be like one rack, and it's going to be designed very specifically, and there's going to be a purpose for it, and we're going to go out to market at least with our own potentially delusional belief that it's the best rack that exists in the market, right? And that's kind of how we approach all of our product design. There've been a couple products, belts, etc., that I haven't been super proud of, and they've done whatever on a sales perspective, but our barbells, our plates, our clips, these are products that we've spent a lot of time and a lot of design on, and we really believe strongly on them. And we put those products up against anybody in the market, especially from a price point perspective. So I think you're going to expect to continue to see stuff like that from us. I think probably the biggest thing you're going to see in the short term from us is we're going to be better at supply chain issues and making sure that we don't sell out, because we sell the fuck out. You go to our website right now and it's like you can't even buy bars. And part of that is because we had to go back and retrofit, a crap ton of bars because of the Rogue thing. But, always being in stock, always being available, continuing to produce great products, and expanding our footprint in the space, man. We brought on a couple like real deal, legit athletes. We're doing some custom bars with them, kind of like what we did with Andrea Nisler. I just think you're going to see more of us. And I think the things that people have liked about this company to this point, for the fan base that we do have and the customers that we do have, we're going to stay true to that. It's not going to be about every product in the book. We're going to do the products that we do, and we're going to do them really, really well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The whole thing was focus on the barbell and design products ancillary to the barbell. And just like Greg said, we're not out there to push out commercial gym equipment and all that stuff. We want to pick a couple of products, and we want to do a couple of products well. I would love to expand upon the barbell too. We have guys and gals clamoring for shorty bars. We have asking for training bars, asking for power bars, all of these things. Yes, absolutely. We want to do all of these things, but what I would like people to understand is, realistically, like, hey, we are a self-funded small business, and as much as we want to do all of these things, we have to scale appropriately, and grow appropriately. So, we're currently in the midst of an investment round. The whole goal of that is to satisfy what our consumer, what our athlete, what Hero Nation wants, is satisfy inventory demand, get the comp plates out to everybody, and then continue to grow R&D these products and build the brand from there. So that's the future. The future is awesome. I can't, I kind of go to bed and just kind of like can't wait to grab my phone in the morning and see like what's going on. But it's a fun thing what we built. We're super proud of it, and we really look forward to the future.
Cool. Well, I think when I asked you about like the COVID question earlier, like a lot of these companies formulated, and I think a lot of people predicted that they would go out of business, and a lot of them did. And I think it's clear, like with your heavy focus on brand, that you weren't just like here to make a quick buck during the COVID. Yeah, during the COVID, where everybody wanted barbells. So I think that's really cool, and I think that the fact that you're still fighting is just awesome, and you're very focused on like what you already do well, and even trying to make that even better. I mean, I'm not like this business mastermind, but that sounds like the right way to do it. Congrats on the success, and thanks for taking the time to do this. I'll make sure to plug in your new Instagram handle and website
Thanks,
into the descriptions. So if anyone listening could do them a favor and go follow their new Instagram handle, that would be great. Hopefully you get your old one back though.
Heck yeah.
But before we go, anything else you guys want to say?
Man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you having us on and allowing us to talk about the company. We're really proud of it, and it's just a lot of fun for us to continue to go down this battle, even with all the bullshit and all the challenges and all that stuff. Man, it's still it to me, in a weird way, as strange as this sounds, the stuff that happened was kind of like really exciting, because it sort of felt like you bothered somebody enough that they took notice to you. And if everybody else out there was sort of getting the same issues we were, then we would have just like, all right, well, they're just coming after everybody. But we were kind of singled out. I mean, there might have been a couple other people, but you said like the Ethos guys are still selling their bars, all these other competitors that have this silly little rubber band around their collar, like their Instagrams haven't been shut down. Like, we felt very targeted, and maybe we're delusional, and maybe it was just random, but we kind of feel like we might have got up on their radar, and we're using that as a motivation point internally. So,
Jake, I just go ahead.
I was just going to say, probably just because you're so far into the CrossFit world. That's what I would think, but
yeah, it's possible.
Ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks, man. You seriously, you took a chance. You're like one of our OG reviewers. You took a chance on us from day one, and you continue to support. So thank you so much. I really, really sincerely appreciate you having us today, and Home Gym Con 2024. Baby, here we go.
Hey, you coming?
What's that?
You gonna try and make it?
We want to. TBD. But yes, yes.
Cool.
Don't quote me on it, but
I'll take that as a maybe.
Yeah, it's a solid maybe, and it's super close. It's super close to my other side of the neck of the woods, anyway. So yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for taking the time.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome, Jake. Take care.